Trevor Gureckis composes the music for Servant on Apple TV Plus, and I'm Riley Chow. Now, I talked to you last year. You said that you learned the violin for this show. So first of all, how's that going?
Getting a little better. Uh, I can do more arpeggios. Like an amateur violinist, which is even a stretch to say what I do. Really, I'm just like holding a position, and I'm doing a couple things, and then I'll move the position, and then do another thing, and the magic of recording, where it's just stop, edit. That's kind of what it is. But I guess my bowing technique is improved, which is like again like more of like an intuition kind of vibe than a real thing, but than like a studied experience. But I definitely use it a lot in season two. Um, but the chamber quality of season one, which was really important to have that close violin and close piano and all these kind of bowed instruments, started really fading back as like electronics took a bigger sound and orchestral instruments, like bigger string sections, really came to be a bigger quality as the show really expanded and became clear that Knight really wanted this to be a much more aggressive score.
Yeah, what did he tell you about what he wanted for the second season?
I mean, it's one of those things where we didn't know until we really dug in. I did the process that I learned from Sue Jacobs, the music supervisor, that you kind of start fresh. But I didn't actually do that until I scored the first episode of season two. Thinking like, all right, well, I already know it's Reverend is, so let's just go. And everyone was like, yeah, this is good, but this just sounds like you're just doing the same thing. Of course, I was like, this is great. What do you mean? But so they're like, hold on, let's take a second. Night was like, let's think about what this season's going to be about. So I took a step back. I wrote three pieces. We talked about, what the future of the season's going to be, where Leanne, where Dorothy are going, things that I wasn't like, fully grasping where we're going to go. Um, and he just explained like, of these bigger concepts and bigger, uh, aggressive ideas. And so in doing that, in these new ideas that I approached, it was still in the servant sounds. I had a lot of servant instruments and servant my violin and um, but I introduced vocals for Leanne, which was because she had such an interesting presence in the show, which was never the case in season one. And the electronics, really up, went up, and but that was just because he wanted it to be a more muscular score. He didn't really say like those words, but like we just knew that we were going to get there. And so when doing that kind of restart, um, which is a good way to kind of um, reset our thinking about what where we're going to do, where we're going to go, um, just kind of like off the picture, no particular scene, no particular episode. Because I only had episode one. Um, we just wanted to see like where what could we get out of like a new season, and not just sound like we were repeating or like temp scoring. Because I think some shows can get to that situation where you not necessarily reinvent every season. And I'm not even sure if that comes across. I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying we tried. That was the idea.
You said it's a more muscular sound. What does that mean?
Um, I mean I have like the bass kalimba, and I distort it. I use it in heavier ways and detune it, make it like, um, uh, uh, you know, it's deeper. the in season one, it has like almost a singing quality as I'm bowing it, but in this season, it's like really aggressive and like lots of um, uh, like scratchiness and because things just get crazy, you know. So like, I didn't know what I'm just following where we're going. The electronics have really heavy hits and uh, uh, really low and huge, like rising uh, chords and swells and things that you would never put in season one. If you took like some of the stuff I did in season two and tried to, throw them in season one, you'd be like, well, this doesn't make any sense at all. It's like so. At least that's what I would think, because it's, not all the time. I mean, there's definitely a lot of moments where we're very gentle or it's scored like uh, to the scene, but when it gets crazy in a way that you never hear in season one. So
Yeah, I was kind of every so often I'd be brought back to season one when we'd kind of get the main theme kind of with the
yeah,
a xylophone. Can,
yeah.
yeah, can you talk about that kind of original theme? What went into it?
Well, it first shows up when in season one when Leanne is looking at the videos and sees her. It was like a reveal. So I guess it's not a spoiler if I'm telling everyone season one. But you realize that Leanne had met Dorothy when she was a child, and she's looking at the DVDs. Uh, and so I'm playing on glockenspiel, which is like a small. It's basically, it looks like a small xylophone or something. Um, and that turned into the main theme because the servant is really Leanne, and when you think about it, it was the I didn't do the main titles until the main theme titles until I had finished the show. So it was very like last second, or well, it was last second. We tried different things with voices or um, you know, I forgot what else, other the piano things or whatever. But then I settled, we tried like, oh, what if we did like something with Leanne's piece or whatever. So I tried that, and that comes up in season two like quite often because when Leanne is like presenting her power, I'll play that theme again with her, but swirling around her is just this mayhem. So you hear this like very delicate main title theme or Leanne's theme from way back season one, where she's just twiddling her thumbs as a child when she first met Dorothy. But in the new context is like ultra powerful woman, and you never knew that they had let in this person into their house. That's what the new sense of that new context of that theme is.
Yeah, I mean that actually is what it is happening. I just couldn't
Yeah,
articulate it when I'm
yeah.
watching the show. It's yeah. What episode are you submitting to the Emmys this time?
I think it's ninth episode 204.
Yeah.
So that's a crazy one where um, crazy shit happens. But yeah, it was 2 a.m. So that's where you realize what 2 a.m. stands for, and where Dorothy, like essentially tortures she gets Leanne, and then she like tortures her at this hour, and you realize why that's the case. Um, I thought that was well, Knight did such a great job at directing that, and then musically it just felt like we had made a real turn um, towards like what the season was going to go. And I know it's only 4 episodes in out of 10, but not only do you reveal who Dorothy really is, and I think musically from episode 3, that becomes apparent at like the last cue. when she what she does with Lan, and then uh, just like tone wise, things just like, oh, we're gonna get to a new level with this show. And I thought that um, musically pulling everything together from really, I think it pulled together a lot of season one material. Obviously, with like what happened with the baby, with Jericho, and so I think it encapsulates a lot of the show. And musically, I was able to, because of that, bring back some elements of season one, which was a lot of um, fun and interesting to do, because uh, because of that kind of like interesting twist to it.
Yeah, it does seem to be the episode that Apple's kind of pushing across, as many categories as they can. And yeah, it's a great one. I wonder though if you would have submitted the ninth episode, since you had posted that you were especially fond of like the overdose sequence with like the kind of building beat and that kind of thing.
Well, I thought that was so. Tony wrote that, and he's such a great writer, uh, and it's crazy and fun, and um, so there's a lot of like really cool like new sounds in that too. Um, um, so yeah, I mean, I like that scene. It's so awesome, and the way that they shot it and how it plays out is really cool. Um, and how it eventually leads to the finale or final episode. Um, uh, but yeah, I think that episode is has a lot of humor and it has a lot of uh, crazy drama that you never like, totally unexpected. And getting Julian like it really involved, which is awesome because he's so funny and such a great character. Um, but yes, Apple was very interested in 204. So I think I was interested yeah, I was interested in 204, but maybe, no, it was 108 from last season, but 204 this season. It was like 204 or 210 or 110, maybe, or sorry, 210. Between those two, because 210 was just almost so crazy. And I thought musically it was so insane that I thought maybe um, uh, it would be an interesting like musical experience because of the kind of the it was the height of the score. Um, but in terms of the narrative, I think 204 really captures like what the show is about, season two is about.
So the soundtrack is online. You've got 50 tracks from the second season. Are there any particular standouts for you?
That's great. 50 tracks. It's because you have so many like small like
Yeah,
light
they're all
spots,
really
very
short, but
little. Yeah, exactly. Spots very little like um, delicate moments. It's funny that when I think about it, 'cause other film scores I do, they're like try to pare them down to like 12. I'm like, but just to make like 40 or 50 minutes, you're like, oh, I gotta have 50 things. Um, I really liked uh, I think it's called Fire, which is the one where Leanne accidentally or what, puts off the fire in the house, and Uncle George, you know, takes off running. There's a car accident. Um, to me, that's like the moment where Leanne, uh, you really like Leah. It's a lead up. To me, it's a lead up dramatically to 110 because you are seeing that whether or not she like accidentally did something, she's like presenting a force uh, that's not just like um, messing with Sean's hand or something, just like reading the Bible and writing stuff down, but like actually like hurting someone, like doing something uh, that we haven't seen before from her. So I think that, and then the music is crazy as he's like running and the fire is and it has a slow build leading up to this as he's walking through the hallway and all this. So it has a lot of interesting turns that I thought was really interesting. I really like that one, and I like the end of 204 where you find the 2 a.m. I think it's called 2 a.m. That one's cool because I always remember visually where you see the camera just does a long uh, like dolly shot going forward, and the music starts to kind of propels it, you know, with like these long hits of pizzicatos and all this stuff. Um, and then you hear like Jericho's theme. You have to, of course, you have to see season one to even remember what Jericho's theme was because it's not really around season two. Um, but yeah, I think it's called Fire, but that was one of my favorite cues tracks.
Okay, yeah, Trevor. Well, thanks very much for chatting with Gold Derby. Great catching up with you, and we
Yeah.
look forward to the evolution of the sound in season 3.
All right. Thank you so much.